The F-15E has been there, done that, and got the trophy in numerous conflicts. From the Gulf War to modern-day operations, it has consistently showcased its incredible agility, proving itself as a force to be reckoned with in both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions. In a dynamic and ever-evolving air combat landscape, the F-15E Strike Eagle continues to be a formidable asset in the U.S. Air Force's inventory. The history of the incredible F-15 jets is almost comical, considering how panic was the backbone of their creation. Now, they've become indispensable in the U.S. Air Force, and the F-15E stands out as one of the legends in the aviation history books, consistently wowing everyone who encounters it with its incredible feats. Its rich history continues to fascinate aviation enthusiasts everywhere in the world. Join us as we delve into the impeccable journey of the F-15E Strike Eagle, America's multi-role fighter jet. In July 1967, a seismic event occurred in the world of military aviation. The Soviet Union unveiled a new fighter that would go on to set off alarm bells in the United States. This aircraft, dubbed the Foxbat, was a game-changer. With its purported multiple air-to-air and long-range air-to-surface missile capabilities and the ability to achieve speeds of Mach 3, it was a formidable adversary. The U.S. Air Force suddenly found itself without a fighter in its operational arsenal that could effectively counter this new threat. The geopolitical landscape of the time was marked by the intense rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, and the battle for air superiority was a critical aspect of this Cold War confrontation. The Soviet Union appeared to have gained the upper hand in this arena, which was a cause for concern for U.S. military strategists. The roots of this concern can be traced back to the early days of jet combat. In the Korean War, the F-86 and MiG-15, both agile and lightweight fighter jets, engaged in intense dogfights. However, by the mid-1950s, the landscape of fighter aircraft design was changing rapidly. New technologies, such as powerful radars and guided missiles, were transforming the way air battles were fought. The prevailing belief among military planners was that future air battles would be fought beyond visual range, where the enemy would appear as a distant blip on a radar screen. This shift in strategy led to the development of aircraft like the F-4 Phantom. The F-4, unlike its agile predecessors, was designed to be fast, heavily armed with missiles, and equipped with a powerful radar. However, the reality in Vietnam told a different story. The skies over Vietnam were a chaotic mix of enemy and friendly aircraft, and the systems designed to help U.S. pilots identify the enemy proved unreliable. This forced pilots to get close to visually confirmed targets, shattering the idea of engaging from a distance. The new F-4 Phantoms found themselves in close-quarter dogfights against more agile MiGs, a scenario their pilots had never been trained for. Furthermore, the Phantom's guided missiles proved to be hopelessly inaccurate, with only 14% of them hitting their targets. Compounding the problem, the F-4 lacked a built-in gun for close combat. Its larger size and less maneuverable nature made it an easy target for the MiGs. As a result, American pilots were being downed at alarming rates, highlighting the continued relevance of dogfighting. In response, the Air Force retrofitted the F-4 with pod-mounted Gatling guns and trained pilots to engage the more maneuverable MiGs. However, these were temporary solutions. What the Air Force truly needed was a dedicated air superiority fighter. In 1968, the Air Force initiated a process to address this need by inviting leading U.S. aircraft designers to submit proposals. These proposals were evaluated using a groundbreaking concept known as energy maneuverability, a mathematical formula that assessed a fighter's overall performance in terms of speed, thrust, drag, and weight. The contract to build the new fighter was eventually awarded to McDonnell Douglas in December 1969. The result of this endeavor was the F-15 Eagle, a fighter designed from the ground up for tactical dominance in any airspace. With two afterburning turbofans capable of delivering a combined thrust of 48,000 pounds, the F-15 possessed remarkable power. It could break the sound barrier even while ascending vertically and had a top speed exceeding Mach 2.5. To achieve peak performance, its engines were equipped with variable air intakes, and a sophisticated computerized control system that adjusted airflow for optimal performance at varying speeds and angles of attack. In contrast to earlier fighter jets like the F-4, which favored reduced wing area for high supersonic speeds, the F-15 opted for low wing loading and a high thrust-to-weight ratio. This design choice granted the F-15 exceptional maneuverability. Furthermore, the F-15's cockpit was strategically placed high in the fuselage, offering a commanding 360-degree view. It featured a digital heads-up display that seamlessly integrated with radar and avionics systems. Equipped with 8 Sparrow and Sidewinder missiles mounted under its wings and along the fuselage, the F-15 was poised for air-to-air engagements. If close-range combat was needed, it boasted a formidable 20mm Gatling gun capable of unleashing a torrent of up to 6,000 rounds per minute. Regarding survivability, the F-15 was designed with triple redundant hydraulics, low vulnerability flight controls, and a reinforced airframe. This engineering prowess made it a force to be reckoned with in the world of fighter aircraft. The F-15's journey began in June 1972 when the prototype was unveiled, only 3 years after McDonnell Douglas received the green light for its development. It underwent rigorous testing, pitted against the best that the Air Force had to offer. Even when facing formidable opponents like the heavy F-4 Phantom and the smaller F-5, used to simulate agile MiG fighters, the F-15 displayed supremacy in virtually every engagement, whether beyond visual range or in close dogfights. This air superiority fighter was a game-changer, enabling the Air Force to send a powerful message to the Soviet Union. In the preceding year and a half, the Soviet MiG-25 had set new time-to-climb world records. Now, it was the F-15's turn. In 1975, a pre-production F-15, stripped of non-essential components and even its paint to reduce weight, executed a series of climbs in the cold, dense air of North Dakota. It reached altitudes as high as 30 kilometers, nearly to the edge of the Earth's stratosphere, shattering the MiG's records by more than 25%. The F-15's success didn't stop there. By 1974, it was already in mass production, with over 400 early F-15A and B models ordered for the U.S. Air Force. Not only did the United States recognize its potential, but its allies were also eager to acquire this remarkable aircraft. Israel was the first foreign operator in 1976, followed by Japan and Saudi Arabia. As the F-15S were deployed at West German air bases, right on the Soviet Union's doorstep, a face-off with the MiG-25 seemed imminent. However, when the moment arrived in 1976, it was quite a surprise. Lieutenant Viktor Belenko, a Soviet pilot, made the audacious decision to escape the Soviet Union by flying his MiG-25 to a civilian airport in Japan. This escape provided the Americans with an unprecedented opportunity to examine the MiG-25 in detail. While the two aircraft were similar in size and appearance, the MiG-25 and F-15 had very little in common. The MiG-25 was a heavyweight, constructed primarily from heavy nickel-steel alloy, weighing nearly twice as much as the F-15. Its large wings weren't for agility, but rather needed to lift the massive jet into the air. The sheer weight of the MiG-25 meant that it could only execute a 4.5 G maneuver, whereas the F-15 could approach that level of agility. Much of the MiG-25's payload consisted of the fuel required to feed its massive engines. Despite its size and power, the MiG-25 had a combat radius of just 300 kilometers. The contrast between the two aircraft highlighted the F-15's superiority, not only in terms of maneuverability, but also in its versatility, advanced systems, and overall capabilities. The F-15 had truly earned its reputation as one of the greatest fighter aircraft in history. The MiG-25, often perceived as a formidable adversary, proved to be less of a dogfighting monster than initially feared by the Americans. It was primarily a high-altitude interceptor designed with one specific mission in mind: to achieve incredible speeds and catch enemy bombers. Its avionics systems relied on outdated vacuum tubes, and its radar lacked the ability to look down, which meant it couldn't detect an F-15 flying below its horizon. The Soviets had guarded the Foxbat's capabilities as a closely kept secret, leveraging the propaganda value and the alarm it stirred among the Americans. However, as it turned out, the MiG-25 was not a versatile fighter. It wasn't built for anything beyond its role as a high-altitude interceptor. This revelation prompted a shift in the balance of concern. By 1976, the Soviet Union had no fighter that could stand a chance in a dogfight against an F-15. The F-15 began proving its mettle in 1979, when Israeli pilots achieved 4 victories in a single engagement by downing Syrian MiG-21s. This success marked the start of a series of victories, and the F-15 soon became synonymous with clearing the skies of adversaries. It set an unprecedented record with more than 100 victories without a single defeat, a remarkable achievement unrivaled in fighter jet history. The F-15's evolution continued with the introduction of C and D variants, which further improved its range, payload, and weapon systems. While initially conceived as an air superiority fighter, the F-15 would also undergo development into a formidable ground attack aircraft, capitalizing on its impressive range, speed, and payload capacity. Even today, nearly half a century after its maiden flight, the F-15 remains an indispensable asset for the U.S. Air Force. The latest addition to its lineage is the F-15X, deliveries of which commenced in 2021. The F-15X is a thoroughly modernized replacement for the F-15C, equipped with state-of-the-art technology to ensure its continued effectiveness in contemporary air operations. Before expanding on the F-15X, we must mention that the F-15E Strike Eagle is a true exemplar of American multi-role fighter jets. In the ever-evolving landscape of military aviation, this aircraft, fondly known as the Mud Hen by its air crews, stands as a testament to adaptability. The U.S. Air Force continues to hold the F-15E in high regard, recognizing it as one of the most proficient multi-role fighters for both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions. One of the standout features of the F-15E is its exceptional fuel and weapons carrying capacity. Major Michael Jokey, Assistant Director of Operations for the 335th Fighter Squadron, highlights how the F-15E's design plays a pivotal role in its capabilities. It can store more fuel and armaments compared to other multi-role aircraft, a trait that extends its combat endurance and life-saving close air support capabilities. The F-15E carries diverse armament. It can carry various missiles in air-to-air engagements, including the AIM-7 Sparrow, AIM-9 Sidewinder, and AIM-120 AMRAAM. For air-to-surface missions, it showcases its versatility by accommodating an array of weapons, such as the AGM-65 Maverick, AGM-158 Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Missile, and a wide selection of bombs, including laser-guided paveway bombs, general-purpose bombs, bunker busters, and more. Moreover, the F-15E comes equipped with a formidable 20 mm General Electric M61A1 multi-barrel cannon, capable of engaging enemy aircraft and soft ground targets. With a firing rate of approximately 6,000 rounds per minute, it adds a punch to the jet's offensive capabilities. Throughout its history, the F-15E has proven its mettle in various conflicts. During the 1990s Balkan conflict, it was the only fighter aircraft capable of attacking ground targets in all weather conditions. In Operation Desert Storm in 1991, an F-15E destroyed an Iraqi Mi-24 Hind helicopter with a laser-guided bomb. The aircraft flew into enemy territory, braving heavy anti-aircraft artillery fire to eliminate Scud missile sites, demonstrating its air-to-air and air-to-surface prowess. Boeing has undertaken the radar modernization program to enhance the F-15E's already formidable capabilities, upgrading the aircraft's radar system. The older APG-70 mechanically scanned radar is being replaced with the new APG-82 Active Electronically Scanned Array, or AESA radar. This upgrade significantly enhances the aircraft's air-to-air and air-to-ground radar capabilities, bridging the gap between 4th and 5th generation fighters. The F-15E Strike Eagle also has a range of targeting pods, such as the Lantern or low-altitude navigation and targeting infrared for night, and the Sniper Advanced Targeting Pod. These pods provide high-resolution imagery, long-range target detection, identification capabilities, and laser designation for guided munitions. The Lightning Targeting Pod, integrated externally to the aircraft, is another noteworthy addition, enhancing precision strike capabilities. Another significant advancement comes in the form of the rear cockpit, where the weapons systems officer operates. With 4 screens at their disposal, these officers can display data from radar, electronic warfare, infrared sensors, and more. They can monitor aircraft and weapon status, assess potential threats, select targets, and navigate using an electronic moving map. 2 hand controls facilitate the refinement of targeting information and screen selection. In addition to these features, the F-15E Strike Eagle boasts a transparent glass heads-up display, offering vital flight and tactical information at eye level. This feature is especially valuable during night operations, providing a video image closely resembling daylight conditions generated by the forward-looking infrared sensor. This means that the pilot can maintain situational awareness without having to divert their gaze to the cockpit, ensuring optimal focus during missions. In a dynamic and ever-evolving air combat landscape, the F-15E Strike Eagle, with its impressive fuel and armament capacity, diverse weapon options, advanced radar systems, and targeting pods, continues to be a formidable asset in the U.S. Air Force's inventory. Its adaptability, versatility, and time-tested performance make it a necessity in modern air warfare. As military technology advances, the F-15E remains a testament to the enduring legacy of American innovation in the field of aviation. In an unexpected turn of events, in January 1991, the Cold War adversaries, the F-15 and the MiG-25, came face-to-face over the skies of Baghdad. The outcome defied predictions. Although the MiG-25 lacked maneuverability, it compensated with raw power, making it the fastest fighter of its time. The Iraqis saw an opportunity and devised a daring plan to ambush F-15 Eagles patrolling the skies. This encounter showcased the diverse capabilities and limitations of these iconic aircraft, demonstrating that in the world of fighter jets, it's not just speed but versatility and adaptability that often define the victor. However, the F-15X, the latest incarnation of the Strike Eagle, represents the pinnacle of F-15 technology. The U.S. Air Force initiated its quest for this advanced fighter by requesting the purchase of the first 8 airframes back in 2019. And this year, these sleek aerial machines, now officially dubbed Eagle IIs, have been successfully delivered. The Air Force's initial plan is to acquire a total of 144 F-15X aircraft over the next 10 to 12 years, with the intent to replace the aging F-15C fleet, which currently consists of around 200 aircraft. Although the F-15EX boasts 2 seats, it's noteworthy that the Air Force intends to operate these fighter jets with just 1 pilot, given their primary mission of air superiority. However, it's worth mentioning that these aircraft retain all the necessary hardware for strike missions. The original contract also includes provisions for procuring up to 200 Eagle IIs. The outcome of this potential expansion remains uncertain and will likely remain undisclosed for several more years. This development comes as the Air Force grapples with the financial challenges associated with maintaining its existing F-35 fleet alongside large-scale yearly purchases. Operating and maintaining the F-35 has proven to be quite costly, which has led to the reassessment of its role in replacing older F-15 units. Surprisingly, despite the F-15X's price tag being on par with a new F-35, its lower operating costs and unit conversion expenses mean that the F-35 might not replace as many air superiority F-15 units as initially planned. In fact, if the 200-plane option is exercised, it's possible that the F-35 may not replace any of these units. Adding to this intriguing scenario, studies conducted in 2018 indicated that the F-15X could potentially be the preferred choice to replace the aging F-15E Strike Eagles. Approximately 200 F-15Es, which have now reached around 30 years in service, may not demand immediate replacement like the older C and D fighter models. However, addressing their future needs is on the horizon, possibly sometime in the 2030s. The F-15E Strike Eagle and the F-15X Eagle II, while part of the same F-15 family, serve distinct purposes, though. The F-15E is a versatile multi-role fighter, capable of both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions. In contrast, the F-15X is primarily designed for air superiority, focusing on gaining control of the airspace and defending against enemy aircraft. However, despite these differences, both aircraft share a common lineage in terms of airframe design and modern avionics and systems. They benefit from advanced technologies, some of which were originally developed for the F-15E. Their high speed and agility are also a shared feature, as both aircraft are known for exceptional performance during air combat. Both the F-15E and the F-15EX have impressive combat records, proving their effectiveness in various missions. The F-15E has excelled in multi-role scenarios, while the F-15EX continues the legacy of air superiority. It was disclosed that the F-22 Raptor would be retired from 2030 onward, thereby necessitating the replacement of a considerable number of aircraft within a relatively short time frame. The eagerly awaited sixth-generation fighter, expected to begin service by 2030, will first succeed the Raptor fleet before potentially expanding to other units. The choice of replacements for these units, whether they be older F-15S or F-16S that haven't transitioned to the F-35, remains uncertain. Given the potential lack of control over F-35 costs, it's not far-fetched to imagine that more F-15X planes could be procured, possibly even reaching the 400-plane mark as suggested in the 2018 Air Force study. Though the F-15E is a versatile multi-role fighter, the newer F-15X is quickly taking the spotlight. Thanks for watching. While you're still here, click on the link appearing on your screen to watch another of our interesting videos. See you there.